Sometimes I wonder if the human capacity to create hell on earth far outweighs our ability to process it in a meaningful enough way to try to stop it. But I know that that is not a good mindset to have. I know that we have to be reminded, and I was recently, that the world is also filled with some amazing people doing amazing work. Those countries we don't hear that much about: Yemen, Sudan, the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, a country in Central Africa. It has been subjected to horrific colonial exploitation over the years. King Leopold II being a complete monster. And it didn't end there. It's been embroiled in a civil war for over 3 decades, and it's a conflict you rarely hear about, but it is a dire human rights situation. I have been very lucky, very privileged in my life to work with the World Food Program for the last 12 or 13 years, and the WFP have a history of being on the ground in places like this, doing the work, saving lives, and bringing hope. And it's through the WFP that I came across a guy called Distel Zola. Distel grew up in the Paris suburbs. His parents are from DRC. Back then it was called Zaire. And Distel had a great career as a professional soccer player. Kind of a dream, really. He was a defensive midfielder, played for clubs all over the world, and then ultimately played internationally for DRC. How great must that feeling have been? He has since retired, and he and his wife are now doing work in DRC, trying to help in any way they can. So I wanted you to meet Distel and see his work with the World Food Program, just to remind us all that for every problem, for every horror we face as people, the answer is often found in the actions of the good people doing the good work.
It is really nice to see you, and really appreciate you taking the time to give us an update on what's happening in DRC right now. Can you give us an update on the situation and where we are now in DRC and what you witnessed?
Yeah, so the situation in the east, is very difficult because you know about the conflict with the rebel group. So the problem is now the population move because their ground is occupied by the rebel, and they have to go to the city. But the problem, they have the habit to live in the countryside, so it's very difficult for them. And the girl, or the women, are rapid, also crowded. A lot of disease like malaria, like polio, and it's very hard.
The numbers I've seen are somewhere around 6.5 million people have been displaced. Almost 23.5 million people are projected to be acutely food insecure. And I think sometimes when people hear numbers like that, it becomes almost too much to imagine that it's happening one at a time to a human being and their children and their families. Is it getting better in any way?
When I went in Congo in mission with WFP, you can see you give the food to people, and they can have, one moment they can just have food. So I think is important.
Who have you met that their story just stays with you?
One mama, she created a hair shop, and I was very interesting how she managed the things, because they are live. People live, so people do like business over there. So people try to get money also. So it's not easy. But the thing is, even inside the war, inside all the problem, you still have the humanity of people.
And these are people who are trying, people who are suffering, and through no fault of their own. This legacy of brutal colonization and exploitation from outside forces, outside countries in DRC, it's been very significant and tragic over the years. Can you just talk about the impact that has had?
Yeah, I think is hard also for the economic of the country, because we have rich in the ground, but we are poor in the reality. So the contrast is bad, is not good, and I think in the future the balance will be good.
Are you optimistic that will happen?
I think after this conflict, this problem is since years and years, and the role we have to take the voice and to speak to all the world to explain what's happened over there, because all the smartphone, all the car, all the things is coming from Congo. So it's important to everybody have to take his responsibility about that. It's not fair what happened in Congo, but the thing is to not give up and to keep going on until the things be good.
For somebody watching, what can they do to help? What would you like to see from people?
No, the most important is for as I say, to keep going, to say what's happened in the east of Congo, to say this conflict is not about like 30 years and it still continues. It's important for all the Congolese around the world, if you get the chance to have the voice to talk and to say what's happened in Congo, I think it's gonna be good. So we all have the responsibility to cry and to say no more.
I really appreciate you taking the time today to give us some insight. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you very much, George. For me, is a big honor to be in front of you today, because I know what you did in your life is amazing, and know is almost, I think, 12 years. You are high-level supporter for WFP, so you're a big example for all the generation, for us. And thank you again to be what you be.
Merci, Distel. Bonne soirée.
Merci beaucoup à toi. Bonne soirée.
Bye.